What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, we got some great news as Showtime Sports president of boxing, Stephen Espinoza, he weighs in on the possibility of us getting the mega massive showdown between undefeated unified WBC IBF welterweight world champion superstar boxer, who is widely considered by many to be top 3 best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, and Errol the True Spence Jr. 27 wins, no loss, and no draw. 21 big wins by way of knockout. He is 32 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. Should he get past his upcoming opponent, April 16th, Arlington, Texas, AT&T, Dallas Cowboys Stadium, against WBA, World Boxing Association's welterweight world champion, Cuban star boxer, UGAS, who is 27 wins, 4 losses, no draw, 12 wins by way of knockout. He is 5'9.5" with a 69-inch arm reach at 35 years of age. This is a unification bout. Errol Spence, WBC and IBF, and UGAS WBA titles are going to be on the line. But the fight that everybody wants to see, and the biggest fight in the sport of boxing, is Errol Spence Jr. versus his biggest rival and undefeated 3-division world champion, former junior welterweight undisputed world champion, currently the WBO reigning welterweight world champion, who is widely considered by many to be the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terence Bud Crawford. 38 wins, no loss, and no draw. 29 big wins by way of knockout. He is 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. He is 34 years of age. So that's the fight that the world of boxing is anticipating and eagerly waiting. You know, the patience has run thin. Everybody wants it now. And the great news is, so does Stephen Espinoza. Stephen Espinoza, he weighed in today. We had the press conference, the final press conference for Errol Spence and Errol Spence and UGAS. And he did an interview today in which Stephen Espinoza, he stated that there's no time to waste. He don't see any more a reason for Terence Crawford to have to go into a fight with former unified welterweight world champion superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman, who is 30 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout. Keith Thurman is 33 years of age, 5'7" with a 69-inch arm reach. So with that said, many people anticipated that Terence Crawford would do a 2-fight deal with the PBC, Premier Boxing Champion, founder and advisor Al Heyman, and stage a fight between Keith Thurman and Terence Crawford, as Keith Thurman, he made his comeback after a 2-year layoff against Mario Barrios in February 5th to be exact. And then it seemed like we could possibly get Terence Crawford and Keith Thurman in July, as Errol Spence is going to fight UGAS. Well, now Stephen Espinoza, now that Terence Crawford has seemingly not interested in signing a 2-fight deal, and Terence Crawford wants to go straight into a fight with Errol Spence Jr. should Errol Spence win, well, Stephen Espinoza is on the same page as Terence Crawford. He said no more time needs to be wasted. Stephen Espinoza, he stated that let's get the contract signed after this. He's very, very confident that this fight is going to happen, more confident than ever before. He stated that a couple of months ago he wasn't so confident when Terence Crawford was still with legendary promoter, Top Rank CEO and promoter Bob Arum, ESPN and Top Rank. Now Terence Crawford is a network promotional free agent. It's much easier to get a deal done, and he's very confident that should Errol Spence be victorious, they can get a deal done to stage a fight between Errol Spence and Terence Crawford. And like he said, next, he said there's no need to waste time, have Terence Crawford fighting Keith Thurman or anybody else. We see all too many times that big fights like this, they get sidetracked. They don't come to fruition because somebody gets upset or both guys gets upset, right? So he stated that why run the risk of having Terence Crawford possibly get upset, Errol Spence take another chance in another big fight, and he possibly get upset, or there be an injury. In the case of Errol Spence, who after he unified the belts against 2-time welterweight world champion superstar boxer Showtime Sean Porter, September of 2019. Just 12 days later, he suffered a horrific car accident, which saw him removed from the sport and nearly losing everything for 14 months. He made his comeback in December of 2020 against two-division world champion Puerto Rican superstar boxer Danny Swift Garcia, in which he dominated against Danny Garcia. And then Errol Spence was pegged and scheduled to face off against legendary 8-division world champion, iconic Filipino superstar boxer Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. But guess what? August of 2021, Errol Spence suffered a broken or detached retina, which saw him have to be removed from the fight, a serious injury that nearly saw him lose his sight in his eye, that saw UGAS, who was elevated to the WBA super champion after Manny Pacquiao had been out the ring for 2 years after he defeated Keith Thurman for Keith Thurman's WBA title July of 2019. He was out the ring for 2 years. The WBA president Gilberto Mendoza decided to remove him, place him as champion in recess, elevate Yordenis Ugas. Yordenis Ugas was supposed to be the co-main event to Errol Spence, Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao, and he was supposed to face off against Fabian Maidana, younger brother of former world champion Argentinian superstar boxer Marcos El Chino Maidana, okay? But oddly enough, Fabian Maidana suffered an eye injury, and so did Errol Spence. So Manny Pacquiao was left without an opponent. Yordenis Ugas was left without an opponent, and they faced off against one another, okay? And then, unforeseen to many people, Yordenis Ugas dominates Manny Pacquiao in dominating fashion, wins a unanimous decision to officially be considered the WBA champion. These are all chains of events that were unforeseen, okay? Nobody saw that Errol Spence was going to obviously have the car accident. Nobody saw the eye injury. Nobody saw Yordenis Ugas dominating Manny Pacquiao. Nobody saw Manny Pacquiao being out the ring due to a global pandemic for 2 years. You know, so these are situations and events that are out of your control. So Stephen Espinoza, he's saying, let's do it right now. Should Errol Spence get past Yordenis Ugas, there is no reason and no time to be wasted. Let's go ahead and get a deal done and make it happen right now. Now, he did acknowledge there's one hurdle that could possibly be in the way is because there's reports that Terence Crawford could be tied to Daniel Kinahan, and we know the situation currently with Daniel Kinahan. So with that said, he said that could be an issue, that could be a roadblock. We don't know if Terence Crawford is actually signed with Daniel Kinahan. Is he advised by Daniel Kinahan? We know Daniel Kinahan, he advised many fighters in the sport of boxing. Tyson Fury, undefeated two-time heavyweight world champion, British superstar boxer. He also advises undefeated, undisputed junior welterweight world champion, British superstar boxer Josh Taylor, and a plethora of other fighters, okay? So with that said, you know, we don't know what's going to happen with that situation. But Stephen Espinoza, that is, acknowledged that he understands that, he's aware of it, and he stated that, you know, those are things that can be resolved. Okay, so he expects a deal to be come to a fruition and be had, and the stage this big fight that the world has been waiting for. Another situation he brought up was Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua was the unified heavyweight champ. Deontay Wilder was the WBC champ. They both were undefeated. It was the biggest fight in the sport of boxing, and most importantly, in the heavyweight division goes. As the heavyweight division goes, so goes the sport of boxing, okay? And so this was in the heavyweight division for undisputed. It didn't come to fruition. There was games being played on the side of Anthony Joshua. There's games being played, you know, as far as his promoter. We want this, we want that. You know, a lot of pieces being moved around. And guess what? It never came to fruition. Anthony Joshua ends up losing unforeseen to Andy Ruiz in a shocking upset, dropped 4 times and stopped in the 7th round. Then Deontay Wilder draws with Tyson Fury. Then he loses the 2nd fight with Tyson Fury and the 3rd fight with Tyson Fury. Then Anthony Joshua goes on and he loses the belt. He regains the belt against Andy Ruiz, but then he loses them against Oleksandr Usyk. So We never got the massive fight between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. And so Stephen Espinoza is saying eliminate everything else. This is the last risk that needs to be taken between Errol Spence and Yordenis Ugas. Should he get past Yordenis Ugas, let's go straight into it. That's great news for us, the fans. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like and share the videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.